Absolute Batman, the most brutal Batman ever. Guys, I've read some of Absolute Superman, Volume 1. I'm liking it. It's different for sure. I'm really curious what they've done here. I'm not going to read this myself, so let's find out.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we are here
What's
with
up, Rob?
Absolute Batman in DC's new Absolute Universe, which is just DC's version of the old.
Guys, he looks, I don't know, for me, he's a little too buff. Let me know what you think in the comments. He's kind of, I like the kind of spiky, gritty style, and especially the classic like belt and stuff, but he's a little over buff to me.
Ultimate Universe.
Like Bane or something.
In Marvel Comics. But Scott Snyder killed this story. It's amazing.
Right.
So what this does is this opens up with Gotham City. And initially we follow this guy on a motorcycle. And he has this really, really cool monologue, right? Where he says, "Hello again, Gotham.
I'm always willing to follow a guy on a motorcycle, guys.
It's been a long time. So who are you these days? Who have you become while I was gone? You're prettier, I'll give you that. Taller and brighter. My third lap around and I still cannot find it. Where's your heart? You used to have a center, hot and beating, but something's hollowed you out."
So is this Batman, is he basically figuring out that it's, you know, a big fancy city, but something's missing?
In fact, I barely recognize you anymore. I'm not sure
That looked too skinny to be Batman.
I like this new you, Gotham, but that's okay. I don't think you're going to like me much either. My name is Alfred Pennyworth, and I'm here to do some bad things. This is so cool, because I'll tell you guys right now, yes, this is a bad...
Alfred's here to do bad things? Now, I realize, guys, I know that this stuff is like Elseworld style. They can do anything they want, but that's a weird, interesting
Batman story. This is so cool, because I'll tell you guys right now, yes, this is a Batman story. Alfred Pennyworth is amazing in this story. I don't think he's ever been better in DC Comics than he is in this story.
Really?
And it's solid. And so what he does is he basically makes...
Now, it's interesting he's saying that, because right now I'm getting the vibe of the Batman from Batman versus Superman, and I never much cared for that Batman. But, I mean, that Alfred. And, I don't know, let's see. He's got some guns there.
His way back to his house, which isn't really much of an apartment at all, because he's not part of the Wayne family. At least he's not the kindly butler that we're traditionally used to.
It's a vault. Does he just live in a vault?
Scott Snyder leans very heavily into Alfred's military history, which is to say that in DC Comics, Alfred has a history largely associated with the military. Sometimes he was a soldier, sometimes
I don't think I ever knew that.
It depends on what era of DC Comics we're talking about.
I don't read Batman much, guys. Mostly I know Batman from the movies and from Batman versus Superman comics or Justice League stuff, which I usually just read for Superman's sake, right?
In this instance, he has not left it behind. And in fact, he's really more a soldier of fortune than anything else. Of course, he is still estranged from his daughter Julia, just like he is in a lot of the other stories that exist out there. The difference here is that unlike Batman Eternal and the main DC universe, where she ultimately seemed to reconcile with Alfred, here, none of that happens, right? She's just like, don't ever contact me again. And so for Alfred himself, he signs into a secure connection to basically his handler, the folks that pay him in order to do whatever it is that he...
Okay, let me know what you think of this Alfred, if this is a cool take on Alfred or not. So far, I don't know much yet, but it does seem like it's setting up things very well. That's what I'm getting so far.
To do. And so what he does is he asks, what's the assignment? And they say, in the past 3 months, a gang known as the Party Animals has been sowing chaos, butchering...
Why are gang names always so stupid? It's like the toasters in Superman. Party animals?
Citizens at random, raising the murder rate by 700% almost single-handedly. A daycare was torched yesterday. They danced outside while 32 people died. And so Alfred's just kind of like, I read the docket, right? But like, why did you pull me out of Singapore? I was this close to the target. I've been chasing him for like 5 years. And that's where they say, you're needed here. Now, the cool thing is they also...
Well, you know, you got people killing babies. Yeah, I'd say you're needed.
Also give him another piece of information. And they say, there might be another player in town.
Oh, is that him? The little bat thing?
We've only caught glimpses, but he seems to be circling the gang as well. Now, of course, based on the little image they give him, Clearly, it's Batman. And I'll tell you guys right now,
Nailed it.
absolute Batman is amazing. Dude, oh my God, I love the way that Bruce Wayne is handled in this story.
All right.
It's phenomenal. And so what they do is they send him coordinates to do two things. The first is to monitor the party animal gang, and the second is to seemingly keep tabs on Batman. And that's when you switch over to
that makes perfect sense. That's pretty logical.
Bruce Wayne himself. Now, this is also another big difference between the main DC universe and this absolute universe, in the sense that you pick up in Croc's gym when
why are his arms like that? His hand is bigger than his head. That's the only thing, guys, so far that I'm like, no, not on board. I don't like the way he looks. It's odd. It's obvious. It's like, I mean, who in the world couldn't detect that, who he actually is, outside of anybody could spot that.
Bruce Wayne basically starts practicing with a punching bag, and you get a little bit of a throwback to his childhood, where he's spending time with his father. Now, there is a kind of lesson that goes back and forth, where after studying the lions and everything, his father's like, you know, what did we learn? And the response of really Batman is, it says that he sleeps 20 hours a day. Plus, he gets fed prime rib 3 times a day, and never has to be afraid of anything. This kid's living the life. Now, what's interesting here...
So that's what Bruce is saying to his dad? In other words, like, he's noticed... Yeah, most people wouldn't even notice those kind of things.
Is he addresses his father as Mr. Wayne. There's a reason for that. And it's actually a really, really, really cool reason. But at the end of the day, Thomas Wayne asks him, are you excited for the movie later on tonight? Of course, Bruce Wayne says, well, you know, I'm more excited for a nap than anything else. And so ultimately, it's just kind of like, cool, right? Let's get going, class. And so that's when you realize Thomas Wayne in the Absolute Universe is a teacher. Right? He teaches elementary school kids. He's not the ultra wealthy industrialite guy that we're familiar with in the main DC universe. But then shots start ringing out in the zoo. Now, of course, this leads to kind of flashing back to the moment, Bruce Wayne punching the bag, basically breaking it, and then meeting with what you and I know is Killer Croc. Now, he's not really the villain that we're familiar with. In fact,
is he more like a reptile handler or something?
One of the other cool things as a development here is that there is a kind of conversation back and forth where they talk about how, like, Ozzy or Oswald Cobblepot effectively hooked up Killer Croc with an exotic pet license, so that's why he walks around with crocodiles and snakes and all kinds of cool reptiles.
Okay, so Killer Croc is helping to train him? Is that what's happening here? I thought that Killer Croc was showing up when the gunshots were going off when he was a kid. That's not what's happening here. I think Killer Croc is actually training him.
But the other thing is, they aren't really criminals. In fact, Killer Croc seems very, very active within the city of Gotham as somebody trying to improve the city, which is really, really cool. And again, we'll see how far reaching that goes here in a minute.
That's what's fun about these Absolute stories, guys, especially like with Absolute Superman, where you can take and if you have a thought about a character, you can just take and bend that reality all you want. That's why I like Elseworld stories so much. I enjoy that. I don't like those things becoming canon, which is kind of what this is doing in a way. But I do like the exploration of these wild things, like Killer Croc not being a croc.
But you end up learning that, like Selina Kyle, Killer Croc, seemingly Oswald Cobblepot, and most likely the Riddler, just the redheaded kid in the glasses, they all go back to being childhood friends.
Whoa.
Right? So, like, it's not as though they just kind of met each other indiscriminately along the way as Batman was being a villain, or at least being a superhero fighting villains, and that they just kind of did their villainous thing and that was it. It's cool that you get this history here. And so after that, you switch over to this just giant yacht out there in the water, where you basically have a meeting between the Falcone-Moroni crime families and the head of the party.
I'm sure I'm going to figure this out. Is Bruce Wayne, not rich in any way, form, or fashion? Does he not have access to all kinds of cool gadgets and gizmos? Because his dad's a teacher. I think part of the reason they picked that was because teacher is one of the instant things you realize in your brain, not rich.
The animal gang. And what's interesting here is that this party animal leader is absolutely insane. I mean, this dude is really, really dark because, of course, with the Falcone and Moroni crime families, they've ran Gotham for years. And so some third party suddenly showing up here out of nowhere and quote unquote upsetting the apple cart, that makes a lot of enemies out of people. And so they ultimately tell him, like, go away or we're going to kill everybody in your gang. That's just what's going to happen. And so what happens is that this guy tells them that he's a huge fan of
Why are they wearing those helmets? What's up with that?
Of what are basically death masks. And in fact, he says, friends, I'm afraid you have me all wrong. History is what I'm all about. That's what we're celebrating here. And so when more masks are shown to the Falcone and Maroni crime families, that this guy says not just any masks, death masks.
Are those the faces of people? Is that why it's called a
I collect him. That one is rumored to be Socrates himself. This, of course, is Martin Luther. Of course, those of you guys who know your history know that Martin Luther is best known for the Protestant Reformation, but then the head of the Maroni crime family is shown that it's not actually Sal Maroni who's leading it. Instead, it's the brother of Sal Maroni, who, as far as I'm aware, doesn't exist in any of DC Comics outside of this.
So that dude with the on the top left, does he wear those faces maybe? Because, like, it looks as though he doesn't really have a face himself. This is getting interesting, guys.
But one of these masks, essentially the head of Sal Maroni, is held by this leader of the Party Animal Gang, along with
look at those daggers and
the cousin of Mr. Falcone. And he's like, and all the rest. So in essence, this guy came into town before the Falcone and Maroni crime families even understood what was going on, and started killing everybody, like killing all the other heads of the crime families in Gotham.
Their heads?
So by the time these guys come to the seat at the table and say, you need to stop all your criminal activities, it's too late. The demons are at the door. There's no way to stop what's happening. And so these guys are immediately killed on the spot.
You can hear him snap. Listen.
Stop what's happening. And so these guys are immediately killed on the spot, and their heads are going to be mounted up just like everybody else. I told you, this story is amazing. Like, it's so phenomenal. And
so it seems like usual, they really focused on the villain side, making sure that was drawn out really well, because that is a very important thing to do in a Batman story. You got to give the villains a deep connection.
And so again, following that, you pick up with Bruce Wayne officially donning the Batman mantle. Now, one of the things that had happened during the conversation between Killer Croc and Bruce Wayne is Croc had told him, hey, like Mayor Gordon.
Oh, the masks are not. It was that weird face, that hell. Okay, I thought the masks were the people's faces. Okay, that's cool too, I guess.
Is calling
I think my way would have been a little bit better.
At a town hall meeting later on tonight to address the concerns of the citizenry in relation to the Party Animal Gang and all the things that are going on. And so again, this demonstrates the fact that Croc is very, very much active in the community. And where one of the citizens speak up and really just kind of chastise Jim Gordon as mayor about how ineffective he is, the fact that he ran on his position as a cop, but he really hasn't shown any of the backbone he traditionally showed as a cop, meaning he's not willing to do whatever needs to be done to protect the city of Gotham from the Party Animal Gang, that this guy says at least Mayor Hill did something. And so where Killer Croc stands up and says, like, Hamilton Hill was a crook, the response this guy gives is, yeah, but at least he was tough. And it kind of makes sense, right? The citizens of Gotham are desperate, and in times of desperation,
yeah, people get like that in politics where they don't really care about morality and different things like that. They get to where what they want is someone who's tough, someone who's going to do more than just say words to try to stop people, someone who's going to be, I mean, that happens in politics a lot.
People will believe what they want to believe. It doesn't have to be rational and it doesn't have to be reasonable. It's just what they choose to think. And so in turn, you have this other guy who tells...
I have seen that exact face before in comedy comics.
A story, and he says, I run Finger Tailors on 27th Street. Every single weekday for 71 years, I've walked to my shop, except the day my son was born and the day my wife died. 18,302 times I've walked there, but I don't walk there anymore. I don't walk anywhere. because I'm scared. And that's really what it is when it comes to the citizens of Gotham. Here's the kicker about all of this. While this entire town hall meeting is being conducted by Mayor Jim Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth,
I've seen town hall meetings like that before,
is staking the whole thing out, and he's watching all of this. And that's when he's basically in contact with his handler and kind of filling them in, and they're giving him information, different things like that. The Party Animal gang is surrounding town hall, and there's dozens of them, because their intention with all these people in one place is to go in here and shoot the place up, kill everybody in one fell swoop. Now, where you transition back to Mayor Jim Gordon, who talks about how he's going to bring these guys to justice and that he's working around the clock with the police, people call him out, right? And they're like, the cops, man, the party animals just torched a police station 2 hours ago, right? The cops can't do anything because these guys...
Man, it's crazy because I don't care where you're from or what your political lean is. This is a reality in so many places where things are just getting out of control. There are people operating outside the law. They're doing things that are hurting others, and it's like, for some reason, judges just keep putting those people back on the street. It's very relatable. I don't like politics in my comics very much. Never really have, because I prefer to escape from the real world as opposed to like see those things vindicated fakely. But this is very, very cool the way they're doing it. Very cool.
Guys are not afraid of cops. Whenever cops meet someone with...
Is fakely a word? I don't know.
An equally capable force, the only real ally that police have on their side is fear. The fact that that person is just either too afraid of authority or has too much respect for authority.
That won't last forever, guys. That won't last forever.
To challenge cops.
No.
But when they have the means to challenge police officers and then they have no fear, that's when cops serve no useful purpose in society.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of these folks are so terrified. Now, at that point, seemingly, Selina Kyle stands up. Of course, most of you guys know her as Catwoman. And she says, look at us, all of us, right? This is what they want. All of us fighting, scared, blaming each other. But Jim Gordon served this city honorably for a long time. I work with his office and I trust him. I also trust us to be better than this, because it's not just up to him or Commissioner Bullock. It's up to all of us to stop these killers. This is our city. And before she can finish her sentence...
That sounds a little bit like... It sounds like you're trying to be in support of the authority, and at the same time, you're like, but we're going to take it into our own hands almost. Am I getting that right, the speech here, or am I missing that a little bit?
A grenade comes flying in, really more of a flashbang, and just everybody's blinded by this thing. The party animals come busting in, and they're just like, so does anybody want to beg? Right? Like, does anybody want to talk about how they have a family, or, you know, they have kids to take care of, or like a sick old grandma? Because we love that kind of stuff. Right, like we...
Oh, that... Okay, that hits pretty hard, because usually I've seen videos of people turning criminals in bad situations because of their heart. They came in saying, yeah, we don't got that. we ain't got no heart. So if you want to do something like that, we love it. It'll help us out.
Absolutely love those things. Not only that, they fire off a shot at Jim Gordon. They don't kill him, but they do injure him. Of course, you also find out that his daughter Barbara Gordon is very much here and is basically just a beat cop. But after all this is done, suddenly these guys...
Was that Barbara Gordon? Or was that just Dad? Okay. Yes.
Very much here, and is basically just a beat cop. But after all this is done, suddenly these guys are yanked back out the door. The door slams shut, and like Barbara Gordon walks up, cracks the door open, and Batman's just waiting there, and he says, whatever you hear, do not open this door. And son. Do you guys remember that scene in Hellraiser 2 when like everybody was locked in the nightclub? And
why am I not seeing that? Where is the part where Batman... I don't see Batman. Am I missing it? Is he going to get there in a second?
And you were on the outside, you could hear them all screaming for their lives as they died. That's basically what happens here, man. Son. Batman lets loose. It's amazing. So, like, Alfred Pennyworth is watching all this unfold, and he's told, like, if this third party disrupts the intelligence you're supposed to be gathering, you are to engage. And so Pennyworth is like, okay. Then he shuts his eyes, right? Because he can't stop what he can't see. Plausible deniability. And so all these guys, right? These parties
Is that for real, or is that just something he's coming up with? Player just arrives, he disrupts you until copy. Oh, is that for real what he did?
Because he can't stop what he can't see. Plausible deniability. And so all these guys, right, these party animal dudes just start firing it up at Batman, who's just like,
guys, it sounded pretty cool.
Hanging from the rafters. And then, like, it turns out his entire outfit is bulletproof. And this guy descends on them like a demon. And without saying one word, starts taking out every...
Okay, he's looking cooler in these shots to me so far. I don't like those overly large arms and other shots that I saw, but these two shots are looking pretty cool so far.
Every single one of these guys. Now, while all this is going on, Alfred Pennyworth, who's really more listening to everything than...
Is he using the cape as some sort of, like, whip?
Physically watching everything, gives this really cool monologue and this amazing insight into the nature of this version of Batman. And he says,
oh, I thought that dude was impaled. I was like, brutal!
Look at you go. Whoever you are, you've got flair. I'll give you that. So let's see what you can really do. And so in watching
I don't like that tiny head look, guys. I can't stop thinking about
Batman fight, he says you're fast, you're steady. Above all, you're focused. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? You have. You've trained too. Mixed martial arts, which is your own blend. Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you're a striker above all else. Brutal, yet precise. You're putting on a show. A leg stomped on so everyone hears the crack. An arm snapped over your knee.
He made a little crack sound there too.
Sending a message to every single person. You're enjoying it too. And the knife work, my God, so bloody, yet so precise.
Oh! He's got knife ears. That's crazy, man. So this Batman obviously is not above killing. I'm guessing, is that kind of the thing here?
Artery is missed.
That seems like that would be a Batman fan's dream. If you're not above that, if you like the killing part.
By just enough. No fatalities at all. Not one.
Wait. I'm just frozen. How could you be so skilled to be able to stab people like that and make it so that they're not missed each artery by just an... That, to me, oh, that's just... I would rather that he just killed him. You know what I'm saying? Because that just doesn't... I don't think that would work in real life. You would mess up somewhere. You would nick something. Somebody would bleed internally. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So, that means you're an idealist. Now, this leads to this guy called the Hand, or at least seemingly he just addresses himself and saying, this hand has killed more people than you can count. Now, I'm going to give you one chance to get out of our way. Now, it's kind of a cool thing because I'd like to think this guy is just called...
What's he got there? Is that a sword?
The Hand. Of course, this guy breaks out the biggest meat cleaver I've ever seen. So what does Batman...
What happened to his chest plate?
...man do? He returns in kind. And he brings out the Batman Battle Axe, which is dope. And just cuts this guy's hand clean off, right? Just like that. And he just tells him, even kind of taunts...
Okay, that can kill you. All right? That can... make you bleed out. So we'll see how he handles this.
He's like, there's a hospital around here somewhere, but I can't remember which direction it is. So you better start running unless you want to bleed to death. And then he tells the rest of them, which really kind of reveals more, that the party animals kind of rely on numbers and really threat of danger for their schemes than any actual backbone. Batman tells them, like, get out of my way. And like, they all just take off running. Now, Alfred watching this...
Where was he hiding that giant thing, guys? Where was that at?
He says, well done, but if you were a true tactician, you'd have set up a trap for those that were fleeing the scene, only to find out that he did, right? Batman seemingly activates this whole thing and blows this place to pieces. Now, it's not enough to kill everybody here, but it is enough.
I just watched a pitch meeting talking about Batman movies and the explosions. How they never kill anybody for some way, you know.
To get the job done. And so Alfred is told by his contact...
These people are bleeding near arteries, but it's not going to kill him.
Right? There's
right?
what's going on there? The satellite makes no sense. Whoever the player is, you are to engage. And Alfred says, okay. So Alfred moves up on Batman, and then he says, this is the sound of a DC-34 automatic shotgun, son. There are only 3 of them in the world. It could blow your brains all over the sidewalk before you even blink. What does Batman say? Man, son, you better come strong. Kicks Alfred, knocks the gun out of his hand, and then takes off with the gun, right? He's just like,
he technically says nothing.
It sounds dangerous. And he just leaves. And so after that, you have Alfred, who basically does this huge deep down investigation on who this Batman guy is. And in effect, he gives us the modern day origin of absolute Batman in the absolute universe. And he says,
you know, it's funny with his background. Alfred should know not to get that close. He should have stayed at a distance. You know what I mean? Like, that's interesting.
The next day, everyone's talking about it.
You guys are probably like, man, you dissect this stuff too much. It's a comic. I do it with Superman too. I get irritated about the dumbest things.
Who is the Batman? So, who are you really? Bruce Wayne, you hide your tracks well, but it's easy when you're no one. Just some guy, 24 years old. Your mom is a social worker, your dad is a teacher. You grow up in crime alley, high friends in low places, a tight group. You're smart, excel in school, your parents have you tested, and you score near genius level. Then, in the 5th grade, you win a student engineering competition.
With Superman, when they make him a genius, I never liked that. I prefer Batman be smarter than Superman. I feel like Superman has too many powers as it is to be a super genius.
Creating a mobile collapsible bridge that can be used to bring aid to locations hit by catastrophic damage from war and cataclysm. The design is origami-like, based on the anatomy of a bat wing. And the prize is a trophy and a trip for your whole class to the Gotham Zoo, where it all starts.
Yay.
Because somebody starts firing into the crowd. People are literally perishing here. And so Thomas Wayne grabs all the kids and takes them into the bat house, where he tells them all to stay safe. But in the midst of it, he's seemingly shot. And so what happens is Alfred says after that, you lose yourself for a while. You lash out, you rage at the world, but then you find yourself again. Something inspires you. You straighten out, you go back to school and get a scholarship to the best university in the state. But when you get there, you get injured in the first week, a soft tissue tear. And he says, I've seen the x-rays though, and I've been in command of men who faked injury to escape duty. And I suspect that's exactly what you did. But why? You were good enough to be a star, even go pro, because you were
because football is nothing compared to the duty that he has.
Saving your body for last night. For all of this, whatever it is that you've built, you studied applied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, socio-cultural history, everything.
He's like, okay, what I can't figure out yet is the connection between the two of these. Is it just that I guess I should keep watching.
Prepare you for when you came home. And then you did.
My question is whether or not Alfred and him have any sort of connection.
You set up in Gotham and worked in the power grid, then the water department. After that, you interned at City Hall, studying public policy, macro and micro policy, learning your city, the body, the brain, every single part of Gotham, until finally you come full circle, ever the engineer, creating, building, you even fix what you break, repairing the stairs that you blew up last night. You've built something here, Bruce. I see it now. And it's truly impressive. But it's really awesome because what it does is it removes Batman from the traditional plot device type character where he's like, I know the city inside and out because I've been in it for a very long time. And instead, it provides a more practical explanation for why Batman knows the city so well, which is why I say the absolute universe is DC.
Did I miss the practical explanation?
DC's version of Marvel's Ultimate Universe, because the Ultimate Universe was kind of the answer to the question, what if superheroes were more grounded and existed in the modern day? What would it look like? And that's what the Absolute Universe is, right? It's really cool the way it's done.
I do like the Superman Absolute, but I don't want it to replace canon Superman. I think it's cool, but it's getting more to this like gritty, Superman I feel like should be the bright light, and it's now I've heard that things are changing. I haven't gotten that far. I'm only in the volume 1 of Absolute is all I've read. I need to read the second. I think I bought the second one the other day. Superman Day, I went out, celebrated, bought like $80 worth of Superman comics. So I definitely have looked into that stuff, but I'm excited where it's going. I just don't want it to replace canon.
Done. And so what ends up happening is Alfred says, I've taken men down like you before, in cities and jungles and deserts all over the world, because you're crusaders. And crusaders always have a weakness because they always have something that they care about. And yours is sitting right there, which is his mom. That Martha Wayne seemingly never died. It was just his father. So you can
and she's just a poor little teacher's wife, I guess.
kind of draw these almost Peter Parker parallels between this version of Batman and the one that you traditionally see in DC Comics, where he lost both parents. And so it's essentially them just kind of talking and Bruce saying, I love you and that kind of thing, and the way you would relate to your parent, essentially. And so Alfred kind of continues on and he says, I could kill you right here in front of her. It would be that easy. It's what I should do, but you're just a kid. And so at the end of the day, you have Alfred.
Is he just a kid? I didn't catch that if they said that earlier. How old is this Bruce? Is he just like a teenager or something?
Who shows
or is he like in his 20s?
Up to Batman in what's effectively his hideout. But it's not really down in the Batcave under Wayne Manor, because there is no Wayne Manor. It's hard to have a Wayne Manor when your mom's just a social worker and doesn't make billions and billions of dollars. And so where Bruce Wayne resides here is actually on top of these old abandoned buildings, almost up in the sky. And that's actually on top.
That's what
Manor when your mom's down in the back.
That's what that is there.
Resides here is actually on top of these old abandoned buildings, almost up in the sky. And so it allows him to operate with no one batting an eye on what he's doing, because the buildings are designed to just kind of be like tax fronts, right? That they're really more write-offs than anything else. So the buildings are unoccupied. Nobody actually uses them. And so Alfred's showing
that actually happens. Elon Musk one time talked about a building they weren't using. I think he tried to get the homeless in there, but the city wouldn't let him or something like that. That was many years ago.
Going up here with his pistol is like, I'm shutting you down, right? That's the end of it. And so Batman draws the very gun that he took.
So I'm really liking the realistic side to this, even though there's a lot of non-realistic to it. I like how they're utilizing the kind of stuff that happens in actual politics and actual stuff and applying that here. I also like that he took that gun. I didn't realize he took it.
From Alfred, right? That DC-34 shotgun. And Alfred's like, I thought you were better than this, right? You're non-lethal. You don't kill people, right? And so he's like, give me the gun. And Batman opens fire on Alfred, right? Seemingly blows this guy away. And then he takes his motorcycle and he rides off. Now, here's the cool thing, right? Again, Alfred provides commentary here. He's like, a few things happened very fast. First, I realized that he modified my prize shotgun to be non-lethal. Basically, he ruined it. Second, I hear my very gun clatter by my side as though he's saying, keep it. And third, I hear this roar, the roar of my own motorcycle.
His own motorcycle? So did he steal Alfred's bike, or is this just for this one occasion, or is that the bike that he's always using?
And four, his voice says, you're not the only one who follows people.
So, okay, if I missed something in the very beginning that said that like Bruce had a connection to Alfred, let me know, because I did. I completely missed it if that was the case.
Well, seemingly from the first time that Alfred Pennyworth arrived in the city of Gotham, Bruce Wayne's been following him. He's been learning about him, gaining information in the same way that Alfred's been gaining information about him.
Look at that. Look at that Daredevil shot there.
And so the question that really Alfred asks here is, what does all this mean and where are you going, right? Like when you ride off like this, are you going to get the lay of the land?
Oh, he's got the little batarangs all in his face. How is that not non-lethal? He could have blinded him. So that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, oh, I like this realistic side. I don't like that unreal. That one of those would have hit his eye. There's no way. There's just no way.
That's what this is for. What happens when you basically become the person that you really are intending to be. Not only that, you pick up with this epilogue, which is really, really cool, where Alfred, speaking with his contact, says,
I can't stop thinking about his face, his little bandages there. One would have hit him in the eye. Christy Carlson Romano, the girl that played Ren on Even Stevens, she got shot by accident with a shotgun at a range or something. I think one hit her in the eye. Miraculously, she didn't go blind, but I'm telling you, you spray shotguns, so something's going to hit you in the eye.
Take care of Batman the next time he interferes. And his contact says, okay, deal. But for what it's worth, the target that you were previously following in the Philippines before we yanked you out and brought you here, he's in the wind. Nobody knows where he is.
I'm also really curious. Those little batarangs that went in his face, how does he have the money to do something like that if he isn't rich? Robin Hood style, maybe?
We thought you should know. Here's the thing. It's amazing because what happens is Alfred says 5 years I tracked him while he studied with Henry Ducard in France. Then he killed,
it's a cool name, Ducard,
the guy while he trained with the League of Assassins, and then he killed them. Now this guy's in the wind. And so you pick up.
He didn't kill him, did he? He didn't kill him, did he? Somebody else did, huh? It's just that it looks like a trail of his, but it's not. I'll bet that's the case because he's so serious about not killing. He's brutal as all get out. But yeah.
In Manila. And basically you have these two pilots, right? One of them says, or really asks here to be honest, is there nothing else that we call him besides Sir? Like there's no name or anything like that? And the other pilot says, nope, like all the names are fake anyway. Jack Arthur, even I don't know his real name. When you're one of the 30 richest men on the planet, you can be whoever you want to be. And so this other guy says, you think he'd want to be my rich, generous best friend?
Who are we talking about? I got lost. I probably did that thing I do where I talk over things. I got lost. Who's the richest? Who?
And this guy says, no, right? Don't do that. Do not joke. And when the guy asks why, the second pilot says, didn't you hear? The guy never laughs. Not at anything ever. That's why they call him the Joker. With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this to an end.
Okay.
Scott Snyder's back, son, and
okay, guys. I get that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I would like to see him do this same thing with Absolute Superman, because I'm wondering if he would have the same. That was a really cool storytelling of it all. I don't know that Absolute Superman had the same kind of thing to it, but it's good so far. I've only read the first volume, but it's good so far. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want me to check out any more of the Absolute Universe characters. Put it in the link in the comments to which one you want me to do. Remember, guys, like Superman, live humbly, do good.